Have you ever thought of an old friend, someone you haven't spoken to in years, only to have your phone buzz moments later with their name on the screen? Or perhaps you were standing at a crossroads in your life, wrestling with a monumental decision, when a line from a song on the radio or a phrase on a passing billboard seemed to speak directly to your dilemma, offering a sliver of clarity you desperately needed. We've all had these moments, these strange, uncanny alignments of thought and reality that feel too perfect, too timely, to be mere chance. For most of us, the experience is fleeting. We might shake our head, smile at the oddity, and dismiss it as a simple coincidenza, statistical hiccup in the grand, chaotic lottery of life. But what if it isn't? What if that faint, tingling suspicion that something more is at play is actually an intuition pointing toward a deeper truth? Are these moments just the product of a pattern-seeking brain finding meaning where none exists? Or are they evidence of a hidden dialogue between your inner world and the external reality? This is the territory of a profound and controversial idea proposed by one of the towering figures of 20th century psychology, Carl Jung. He gave these phenomena a name: synchronicity. It's a term often misunderstood and casually thrown around, but its true meaning is far more specific and powerful than a simple coincidence. For Jung, synchronicity wasn't just any random overlap of events, it was a meaningful coincidence. It describes the unlikely, often stunning convergence of two or more events that have no apparent causal connection, yet are bound together by their significance to the person experiencing them. It's when the universe outside seems to mirror, answer, or conspire with the universe inside your mind. In this exploration, we will journey into the heart of this fascinating and fiercely controversial idea. We will uncover its origins in a dramatic true story that broke open a patient's mind, examine its startling and speculative connections to the frontiers of quantum physics, and finally, consider what it might mean to live in a world where these meaningful coincidences are not just noise, but signals. Are these just tricks of the mind, or are they whispers from a universe that is far more mysterious and far more connected to us than we dare to believe? To understand synchronicity, we must travel back to a quiet consulting room in Zurich, where Carl Jung found himself at an impasse. He was treating a young woman who was, by all accounts, exceptionally intelligent and well-educated. However, her intellect had become a fortress. She was possessed of a rigid Cartesian rationalism that armor-plated her against any form of psychological insight. Her mind, Jung later wrote, was in a geometrically ordered artificial world where every feeling, every intuition was dismissed as sentimental nonsense. Her therapy was stagnating. Jung's attempts to explore the symbolic language of her unconscious mind were met with polite, unassailable logic. He was getting nowhere. Then, one session, something shifted. The woman began to recount a particularly vivid and impressive dream she'd had the night before. In the dream, someone had given her a magnificent and costly piece of jewelry, a golden scarab beetle. The image was potent, carrying deep symbolism from ancient Egyptian mythology, where the scarab represents rebirth and transformation. Jung listened intently, recognizing the potential significance. Here was a powerful symbol emerging from the very psyche that consciously denied such things. Yet he knew that simply explaining the symbolism to her would be futile. Her rational mind would dissect and dismiss it instantly. It was at this precise moment, as the woman described the golden scarab of her dream, that Jung heard a gentle, persistent tapping sound behind him. It was coming from the window. He turned and saw a flying insect knocking against the outer pane, trying to get into the dark room. This was unusual, but not impossible. Jung got up, opened the window, and as the creature flew in, he caught it in midair. He closed his hand around it and walked back to his patient, who had paused her story, watching him with curiosity. "Here," Jung said, opening his hand, "here is your scarab." Inside his palm was not a literal golden scarab, for they are not native to Switzerland. It was, however, the closest possible European analog, a Setonia aurata, the common rose-chafer beetle. With its shimmering golden-green carapace, it was a living, breathing echo of the image from her dream, delivered to the window of that specific room at the exact moment the dream was being told. The effect was immediate and electric. The sheer improbability of the event shattered the woman's intellectual armor. She could not rationalize it away. The external, physical world had produced a perfect, meaningful echo of her deepest inner world. This moment became the breakthrough they needed, opening a door to her psyche that had previously been bolted shut. For Jung, it was the quintessential example of the principle he had long been contemplating. It was not cause and effect. The woman's dream did not cause the beetle to appear, nor did the beetle cause the dream. They were two separate events, yet they were linked by a profound, shared meaning. This was synchronicity, which he would later formally define as a causal connecting principle, a force that organizes events not by physical cause, but by symbolic meaning, weaving the fabric of reality together in ways our conventional science could not explain. Predictably, the scientific establishment has long viewed synchronicity with a deep-seated skepticism, and for understandable reasons. The human brain is a magnificent meaning-making machine, but it's also notoriously unreliable. We are prone to a host of cognitive biases that can make us see patterns in pure randomness. The most common critique of synchronicity is that it's a classic case of confirmation bias. We experience thousands of disconnected thoughts and events every day. We simply forget the countless times we thought of a friend and they didn't call, or saw a random number that meant nothing to us. But when that 1 in a million alignment occurs, it stands out, and our brain flags it as significant, ignoring the mountains of disconfirming evidence. Add to this the law of large numbers, which states that given enough opportunities, even wildly improbable events are bound to happen eventually. From this perspective, synchronicity is not a mysterious cosmic principle, but a simple statistical artifact, a fluke of probability that we then infuse with a post hoc sense of destiny. But Jung's inquiry didn't stop at the borders of psychology. His search for a framework to understand this causal principle led him to one of the most unexpected intellectual collaborations of the 20th century, a deep and prolonged friendship with Wolfgang Pauli, a Nobel laureate and one of the pioneers of quantum mechanics. Pauli was not just a brilliant physicist, he was a man haunted by the strange and uncanny. He was notorious for what his colleagues wryly called the Pauli effect, a bizarre phenomenon where delicate and complex laboratory equipment would mysteriously malfunction or even break whenever he was nearby. The effect was so well known that his friend, the physicist Otto Stern, had once banned Pauli from his lab entirely. Pauli was a man of rigorous science, yet his own life seemed to be a nexus of inexplicable, synchronistic events that defied his own field's logic. Together, Jung and Pauli ventured into speculative territory that blurred the lines between mind and matter. They theorized the existence of a deeper, underlying reality they called the unus mundus, or one world, a transcendental realm from which both the physical world of matter, physis, and the subjective world of the mind, psyche, emerge. In this unified reality, mind and matter are not separate entities, but two different facets of the same fundamental essence. It was from this unus mundus, they hypothesized, that acts of synchronicity would occasionally erupt into our dualistic perception of the world. Even more startling were the parallels they drew between synchronicity and the bizarre behavior of particles at the subatomic level. They were particularly fascinated by the phenomenon of quantum entanglement. This is the famous spooky action at a distance, as Einstein called it, where two particles can become linked in such a way that measuring a property of one instantaneously influences the corresponding property of the other, no matter how far apart they are, even light years. This connection is immediate and does not involve any known signal traveling between them. It is, in essence, a causal connection, a correlation without a cause. While it's crucial to state that this is not scientific proof of synchronicity, for Jung and Pauli, it was a profound conceptual echo. If the fundamental building blocks of reality can be connected in ways that defy classical cause and effect, could it be that the universe on a macro level, the level of human consciousness and physical events, retains some residue of this strange, entangled nature? It opened a breathtaking question. Is consciousness not just a passive observer of reality, but somehow a participant in its unfolding? While the theoretical underpinnings of synchronicity dance on the speculative edge of physics and philosophy, its true power lies not in being proven, but in being experienced. Synchronicity is not a force you can summon or command. You cannot set up an experiment to create a meaningful coincidence on demand. Rather, it is a phenomenon that one notices, an experience that one becomes receptive to. It is less about manipulation and more about attention. These moments of profound alignment often seem to cluster around pivotal times in our lives. They surface during periods of major transition, deep personal crisis, or intense creative searching. When we are standing at a fork in the road, grappling with grief, falling in love, or pouring our soul into a new project, the boundary between our inner state and the outer world appears to become more porous. It is as if, in our moments of greatest need or greatest openness, the universe leans in to offer what feel like signposts, clues, or confirmations. The book that falls open to the exact passage you need to read, the chance encounter with a stranger who offers a key piece of advice, the recurring appearance of a specific animal or symbol just as you are contemplating its very meaning. The key to perceiving these moments seems to be a certain state of mind. A mind that is constantly buzzing with distraction, rigid with cynicism, or overwhelmed by the frantic pace of modern life will likely skate right over these subtle alignments, dismissing them as noise. Cultivating an awareness of synchronicity requires a degree of mindfulness, a willingness to be present, and to listen to the softer voice of intuition. It asks us to momentarily suspend our disbelief and simply pay attention to the resonances between our thoughts and the world around us. It is about noticing the echoes, the reflections, the rhymes in the poetry of everyday life. For Jung, the ultimate purpose of synchronicity was deeply tied to his central concept of individuation. This is the lifelong psychological process of becoming the most whole, authentic, and integrated version of oneself, of uniting the conscious and unconscious parts of our personality into a cohesive whole. In this view, synchronistic events are not just delightful oddities, they are markers on this journey. They act as a kind of cosmic feedback loop, an external validation that affirms we are on the right path or nudges us back when we have strayed. They are the universe's way of winking at us, confirming that our personal journey of growth and self-discovery is in harmony with a larger, unseen order. It is a compass for the soul, confirming that our individual story is part of a much grander narrative. In the end, we are left standing on a fascinating bridge between rigorous skepticism and profound wonder. We have explored synchronicity as Carl Jung's radical proposal, a principle of a causal connection, born from a dramatic clinical breakthrough that suggests the universe operates not only on physical cause and effect, but also on symbolic meaning. We've seen how this idea, while dismissed by many as mere cognitive bias, finds strange and speculative echoes in the mind-bending world of quantum physics, hinting at a reality where the division between observer and observed, between mind and matter, may not be as clear-cut as we believe. Whether science ever develops the tools to definitively prove or disprove the existence of synchronicity is, in some ways, beside the point. Its greatest value may lie not in its objective truth, but in the powerful perceptual shift it invites us to make. It offers an alternative to viewing the world as a cold, meaningless machine of random events. It suggests that we might instead be living within a responsive, interconnected web, a living tapestry where our inner world of thought, feeling, and archetypal symbols is in constant, dynamic conversation with the outer world of people, places, and events. So, the next time a weird coincidence stops you in your tracks, the next time the world outside seems to perfectly mirror a thought from deep inside, perhaps don't be so quick to brush it aside. Pause for a moment. Allow yourself to feel the resonance, the uncanny rightness of it. You don't have to build a new belief system around it. Simply ask the question, what might this mean to me right now? Is there a message here? Is the universe trying to tell me something? Perhaps the true magic isn't in proving that the universe is whispering to us, but in choosing to live as if it were, to live with the attention, curiosity, and humility required to listen. To walk through the world with the understanding that even the smallest event could be imbued with a layer of significance waiting to be discovered, transforming a life of random occurrences into a journey of meaningful encounters.